People are full of crap.
Music.
The thing that haunts me are all the guys that I couldn't save.
I'm ready.
Oh my God.
I'm ready to come home.
Hello and welcome to the Parking Lot Projectionist podcast. My name is Andrew Stone.
And I am Raymond Eastwood.
And today we saw two movies, American Sniper and Birdman. Raymond, tell us what happened in American Sniper.
American Sniper is a action biography. Shit.
Biography.
It's an action biodrama pick.
This is so stupid.
It's an action biodrama pick, 2014 rated R movie. And it stars Bradley Cooper, Sienna Miller, directed by Clint Eastwood, and written by Jason Hall and based off the book by Chris Kyle. The movie is about Navy SEAL sniper Chris Kyle's pinpoint accuracy, saves countless lives on the battlefield, turns him into a legend. Back home, his wife and kids. After 4 tours of duty, however, Chris finds that it is the war he can't leave behind. It's also a redneck superhero movie.
Wait, it was written by Chris Kyle?
It's based off a book that Chris Kyle wrote, which he wasn't supposed to write because the Navy SEALs don't like when people tell about. It's like a brotherhood. You're not supposed to talk about things that went on over there. He kind of was like on bad terms with the SEALs when he passed. R.I.P. American hero.
I want to say something, but I can't.
Why you can't? What's the matter? You go ahead, you can edit it out later.
He's dishing all these secrets about the Navy SEAls, and then one day a VA shows up in his truck and somehow mysteriously gets him killed?
Oh, you just threw a conspiracy theory out here. Yeah, it's probably got to be edited out, Andrew.
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm not sure, but it is like a code, a brotherhood, a code among the SEALs that you're not supposed to talk about that stuff. But anyway,
should we be discussing this on the podcast then?
Well, we don't know exactly what went on over there, so they can't do anything to us. We just
still don't know exactly what went on over there.
We don't. That's for another time, though, America. This propaganda film showed the sniper Chris Kyle. I think he was 30 years old when he joined.
Yeah, they kept calling him old man.
Yeah,
and,
so
and you know how I feel about stuff like that.
Yeah, he didn't let that get him down.
If you're not over 50 years old and people are calling you old, that just upsets me.
So in the movie, I think he's about 30 years old whenever he joins the SEALs because he just watched 9/11 on TV, so he has to go kill these people who are not part of. Oh God, I should not put in my personal feelings right now.
This will be edited.
Okay.
Don't worry.
This is gonna be.
It's not even gonna be left in as a joke.
This is gonna be a 2-minute one. Yeah. Okay. So Chris Kyle joins the SEALs.
Well, we start with Chris Kyle overseas in. He's in Iraq, right? This is Afghanistan.
He's either in Afghanistan or Iraq.
This is so bad that we don't know.
We don't know because the movie never fully explained why. Where? I'm sorry.
We start off with Chris Kyle in the Middle East, and he is taking sniper aim, trying to cover a convoy that's moving through a bunch of rubble, because that's how all of the Middle East looks. There are no major cities, any sort of modern development over there.
I think there is. They just didn't want to show that. They just wanted to show, like, the ghettos of the Middle East. Because this is where the gang members of the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda hang out.
I'm trying.
Andrew's trying, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm trying to name an American cowboy in the ghetto.
So right off the bat, the movie starts out with him already over there, by the way. It starts out with, like, you know how those, a segment, they just want to show you what's happening right quick, fast, in a hurry.
Yeah, this movie's too boring to start where we actually are supposed to start it, but we got this scene coming up that's really good, so we're going to show you the beginning of that scene, and then we're going to make you wait through all the exposition to get back to that scene.
Exactly. It's him trying to cover the American convoy. A little boy walks out of his house just, like, right in the line, and as the SEALs or Marines or whomever.
I think he's the only SEAL covering all the Marines.
Yeah, as he walks out, none of these guys see him straight ahead. I guess they're all looking to the sides or whatever. Then they see his mama walk out wearing her Darth Sidious robes, which it would freak me out. I would have opened fire immediately. If somebody walked out in a Darth Sidious robe like that. So
that is a good point. He's talking to them. Can you confirm? She's got this. She's got this. She might have this in her hand. And it's like, no, we cannot confirm. And then later we have a shot behind the mother and the son, and you can clearly see that they're just half a mile up the road. Clearly, someone has to be having binoculars, and they could just look and confirm straight ahead of them.
Half a mile? They got a good throwing on if it's half a mile.
Shorter than half a mile. Yeah. That makes it worse.
Does make it worse. Chris Kyle takes a shot. It just shows you his psychological damages. He has to shoot a kid kid who was, forced into this war by bad people.
I shot a kid.
Ooh.
It was the middle of the day. We were in the Middle East. I
He
couldn't
had
see
a
what was
bomb
going
look
on.
real enough.
He's got a Russian grenade. He's got a Russian grenade. Can you confirm he's got a Russian grenade?
Can you confirm he's got a Russian grenade?
It's like, oh man, dude, waste that guy. But if you're wrong, they're gonna kill you. But I want to see you shoot that kid. Yeah. A little sidekick.
Oh yeah, a little sidekick. Was,
Yeah, a little
that
comic
guy was
relief
a
Jar
dick.
Jar character.
Yeah, they kicked him out of the movie after the first act. He was gone because Chris Kyle didn't like the way he was talking. So it opened up with his psychological effects of the war, where he has to shoot a innocent child, and then you start off Chris Kyle's going through his daily routine. He's a cowboy, as he puts it.
Oh,
and
we had a flashback.
Oh yeah. This is the thing about this movie, and this is what brings this movie down a little bit for me, is that it set up his dad and brother characters, and they never get paid off at all. When you see the brother one more time in the movie, I was thinking that we was gonna have like a sequence where his brother died or his brother went crazy or something like that, and we didn't get it. Or a sequence with his dad. I thought Clint Eastwood was gonna play the dad whenever he came back, and then it was gonna be great. Clint Eastwood was gonna be an angry dad talking about how proud he is of this son and not the other son who quit. We didn't get that. I was looking forward to those scenes, but we didn't get those.
Yeah, the dad has some speech about how there are only three kinds of people in this world: the sheep, the wolf.
The sheep?
The sheep, the wolves, and the sheepdogs.
And the sheepdogs. So the dad explains sheep are the nice, innocent people who follow along and do exactly what they're told to do by the dark shepherd. The wolves are the people who are either sheep as well, who are corrupted and just violent, or the wolves are just people who are trying to wake these sheep up, but apparently not. The shepherd, who is this mastermind behind everything, gets the sheepdog to protect his sheep from the wolves. Hoorah. I'm sorry.
Basically, we just have a huge Man of Steel things, like someday you'll discover who you really are. And then we cut to him on a playground. His brother... Yeah, his brother is being beaten up by a bully, so his little brother's a sheep, and then the bully is obviously the wolf, and then he just takes this bully down, starts clobbering him, and then you get a voiceover of the father saying, "Now you know who you're meant to be."
Yeah.
That would have been a wonderful place to have the title card slam up. You know who you're meant to be. American Sniper.
Yeah, they got a lot of missed opportunities in there. Directed by Mr. Clint Eastwood, Mr. Dirty Harry. He's a little old, so we gonna let him slide. No, we're not gonna let him slide. Shit. Starts out with him being a cowboy, doing this rodeo thing. He realizes he doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. Apparently, him and his brother, they're having a good time. Comes home, his girlfriend's messing around with some guy. He doesn't lose it and attack the guy right off the bat. He tries to have a nice conversation with him, and then he punches him.
You're so unreasonable. You're such a jerk. See what you drive me to do? See what you drive me to do?
Apparently, he
This is all your
forced
fault.
her to do coitus with another man, which is entirely not true. But that's, how it is. They gotta set up a villain female for some reason.
She storms off. Chris Kyle sits on a couch and randomly one night on the news sees an embassy bombing across the seas and is like, man, I really should be a force for justice.
He takes up the call. He walks outside by the farm, steps on a wooden board, and he falls through into the shaft, and just all these American bald eagles just start flying in, surrounding him. He just stands there.
Yeah,
and,
he's
and
not
the music
scared.
starts swelling.
He's embracing it.
Yeah, it's just, and you just see like this red, white, and blue lights come on him, and it's amazing. It's such a great scene.
And then he goes to enlist in the Navy SEALs.
So he's 30 years old, enlisted in these SEALs. Everybody's making fun of him. You know how he is when you're in the army. The same typical stuff you see in movies. Hazing him, giving him a hard time, trying to push him to the limits. He's like, nope, I'm not giving up. He doesn't give up. They put him in the sniper program. They put him in the super sniper program. He goes in. He's firing his shots. He does great, excellent shot work. The leader of the super sniper program is keeping a close eye on him. He goes out to a bar one night, meets a girl, who's getting hit on by some guy. He tells the guy, shove off. I'm in the super sniper program. You can go to hell. The girl is very grateful, and she's like, I don't like SEALs. You guys are mean or something like that, because my sister dated a SEAL. He's like, here, drink this. And she starts throwing up, kind of like that scene from Taken 3. He made her purposely poison her, takes it back to his place, and they make love.
Yeah. And now she's going to be his wife because she
She
took the love
becomes
potion.
his wife. Well, she does become the wife this year.
She might as well have.
Yeah, she becomes the very honorable, sweet girlfriend. And while they're talking to each other, having a good time, they see the 9/11 attack on the news. And then that's when Chris Kyle realizes, this is it. I have to defend this country. Chris Kyle quickly goes...
Reminds me of the scene from Home Alone. This is my house. I have to defend it.
Yeah, he just went booby trap America. That's what they need. That's a movie right there. That's a patriotic movie. These people going around booby trapping America from all these people. We need to get that movie.
America Alone.
America. So anyways, Chris Kyle goes overseas. Then we get to see the scene from the beginning of the movie where he's sniping the kid and his Darth Sidious mama.
It turns out his instincts were correct. It was a Russian grenade. He does end up shooting the kid. CGI blood all over the kid. That we keep going back to over and over again. Just this lump of CGI blood, which is distracting.
He goes in and then they tell him, need your help cover up some Marines in this area. They got this sniper. I guess it was the Taliban. I'm not sure. Because back then, whenever I was hearing stuff on the news, it was Taliban. I'm going to say it was Taliban. They got this really good sniper.
Mustafa.
I forgot what his name. Oh, it's Mustafa. Yeah,
Mustafa, the Olympian sniper.
He was in the Olympics. He was an Olympic hero for his country, which was Syria, by the way. He joined the Taliban because he believed in fighting for what he believed in fighting for.
We never find out what he believed in fighting for. He's just a straight up villain.
Well, we know what the Taliban, what they believe in fighting for. They're fighting, you know, to express, you know, whatever it is about their religion.
You don't know. You don't know.
They want their religion, supposedly they want their religion imposed on everybody. But I just think that they are very upset that we're just going too far into American plot territories and histories right now.
Well, Mustafa is the henchman of a guy that we come to know as the Butcher.
Wait, Mustafa's the henchman or the Butcher is his henchman? I think the Butcher was Mustafa's henchman because the Butcher dies, right, in that scene. Does he die?
Yeah, he dies, but that doesn't mean he's not the henchman. Mustafa was following him around, and he was covering him while he was doing whatever he wanted.
Mustafa was protecting his henchman. You know, we got chivalrous villains nowadays.
This man is surfing Facebook during this podcast.
That was a notification shutting it down. Oh, no, not shutting it down. Not shutting it down. We're not shutting down yet. That's Andrew's line. He's the only one with the power to shut down. Anyways, he has to find Mustafa, take him down. Throughout the movie, Chris Kyle goes through 4 different tours to try to hunt down Mustafa. He's just with the SEALs. They're trying to find this guy. They're interrogating people. We see Mustafa's henchman, a Bushman, kill an innocent family, and Chris Kyle goes back and forth between his tours to his family. His wife gets pregnant, and she's very upset that he's overseas. She wants him home. He's like, I have to go. I have to stop this menace. She doesn't believe in him, I don't believe. She doesn't believe in him like she should.
When I saw you come back from the tour, I started to hope. But then I learned about your mask.
Oh, shit.
The sniper's just a symbol.
Yeah.
Siada. No, this and that fake baby. Those are your masks.
Chris Kyle's doing everything he can, going around interrogating innocent civilians, or some of them we don't think are innocent civilians. Eventually, he catches up to Mustafa. Mustafa's sniping these Marines who are trying to put up a wall for some unknown reason. I guess to block people. I don't know why we're putting up walls in other countries. That doesn't belong to us, but hey, that's the way we do things. Mustafa shooting at the people, so Chris Kyle takes him out finally. He wins, and they get out. So Chris Kyle, he did what he had to do, protected people. In the end, you find out he's got like 100 plus confirmed kills. Everybody loves him. He goes back. He doesn't know how to cope with the war. This was just very funny to me. When he got back, they were trying to talk about how he couldn't cope with the war. He was like, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine, or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it was him helping the veterans who were missing limbs and stuff like that, who needed help coping. We never got to see how he dealt with the war. You know what I'm saying? It just like happened. It was just like, man, I'm perfectly fine. I'll answer for my shots for my maker. And then it just cuts and he's helping other people now. So was he ever managed to get to a point in society where he's able to cope, have a normal life with these people? Which of course he's still affected by the war, but we never got to see his transition to being able to help other people. It was just like a quick cut, which was very strange. Minus some points for that. Sorry, it's a movie that's telling a story, so minus some points for that. So that's a general rundown of this movie. There's a lot of controversy behind it. These celebrities who get on Twitter and speak their minds, you know, call it a propaganda film. It is a propaganda film. I'm sorry if you don't think it is, but it is. It's a very good film, by the way. I'm not knocking it or anything like that, but there's a particular scene in this movie that just made me question something. It's Chris Kyle, he's helping these Marines snipe, and then he tells the Jar Jar guy that he's going down and help the Marines enter people's homes because they told these people to evacuate. Somehow the American government had the power, cooperated with this other government and made them evacuate. So they must have been in Iraq, where it was it Saddam who was the leader of Iraq? Yeah, so it had to be Iraq. They forced him out and then got these people to leave their homes and were breaking into homes searching for people. And at one point they break in and they find people still there and they're just like pointing guns at them, telling them, why are you still here? What are you doing here? And the guy's like, this is my home. This is my home. I live here, you know. I paid for this. I didn't think much of it then, but then you know, all this controversy started happening. I sat back and I thought to myself, man, if George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, the rest of our forefathers and everybody that fought in the American Revolution saw this movie and saw that scene, I think they'd be pretty heartbroken and disappointed in us, because that's like an empire maneuver, man. That's not what America's supposed to be about. She just did that. So I just was very conflicted right now. So I really like the movie and understand that we have to do what we have to do to survive. But technically, we weren't at war with another country. We were at war with, against Saddam Hussein, who I don't believe he attacked us first at all. We just wanted to get him out of power. It was called Operation Iraqi Freedom. We had to free the Iraqi people. But we were freeing them with some pretty forceful method, forcing them out of their homes, and we're going to break in and search for leftovers who were probably terrorists. You know, it felt crazy. And then another scene where they broke into another man's home, and turns out he had weapons stashed in his home. I know there's different laws over there, but in America, you know, we have the amendment to bear arms to protect our homes. They just assumed this guy was some terrorist. They just hemmed him up after finding his gun stash, which he turned out to be a villain, but you know, he's protecting his home though. So I really didn't connect with, he's a terrorist, he's a bad guy, he's gonna blow everybody up. This man offered him food and stuff, and they just grabbed him. Chris Kyle grabbed him after he found his weapon stash, and it was very surreal, man. Just thinking, you know, just want every American to imagine if somebody else came into power and just came over here and started hemming us up, breaking into our homes and stuff.
Well, we did it to ourselves. It was called the Boston bombings, and everyone came out and cheered afterwards.
Okay, it was I'm all about us defending our freedoms and our rights against terrorists and bad people, but terrorists officially don't belong to a country, so we can't just go over forcing people in these other countries to do these things that go against what we stand for ourselves. We're not better than them. We don't get to force stuff against them like that. And this is all just, I always relate this back whenever I had a conversation with a guy once before. This is all the Nazis' fault, because the Nazis, back then we didn't have internet, we couldn't watch beheading videos and nothing like that, but the Nazis were pretty much like ISIS and the Taliban and all that. They started off as a small gang, and I guess we had intelligence agencies who heard about them and we just ignored it, and eventually these guys took over Germany, and then they became their own superpower, and you know, they started these heavy wars, and eventually the Allies won. Afterwards, we were looking at through all their files and paperwork, we saw the kind of crazy shit they were working on, and it just freaked us out. So America, we live in a state of fear. We let our fear control us to the point where we're willing to give up our freedoms and what we stand for and take control of others and their freedoms. That's all I have to say about that. So I just want everybody to imagine that. Just let the forefathers watch this movie and see how they feel about it. I just want you to think about that for a while. I spoke a little too long here. Andrew never chimed in except one time, and he went, he was just like, preaching, Raymond. But I'm sorry, that's just how I feel about this film.
Clearly you had something on your chest that you really wanted to get off, so I wanted to let you rush through the synopsis and say exactly what you wanted to say about all of this. You said you liked the movie, though.
Generally, yes, I did enjoy the movie. It was
and why did you enjoy the movie?
It was well put together. It was originally, when you see the trailer for it, it's gonna be one of these war dramas, but it didn't. It actually was a nice superhero film that I very much enjoyed.
Raymond is completely right. This is a comic book movie about a young man who discovers who he wants to be whenever he's little and rises to a cause and becomes the American Sniper, or as he's referred to as in the film, the Legend. Clint Eastwood even references comic books in this movie. He knows he's making a superhero movie.
Oh yeah, they do mention the Punisher a lot.
Yeah, there's a guy reading a Punisher comic.
They put the Punisher symbol on all their supplies and Humvees and stuff.
Yeah, and they call themselves the Punisher Squad in this movie.
Oh, I did not notice.
So
I noticed the Punisher. I didn't.
So it's basically an alternative title for this movie, which would have been more accurate. The Legend and the Punisher Squad versus the Butcher and Mustafa.
That's a little too long. How about the American Punishers? No, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, sorry about that rant about that, but I just want everybody to think before you jump on anybody, any celebrity who's saying things about this film. Just think about what our forefathers would think about this movie. Right, quick, fast, and hurry. The stuff we did over there.
Immediately, you notice something about the tone of this movie. It's not gritty, it's not realistic, it's kind of lighthearted, even though it's a horrible subject matter about war and violence and questioning your psyche as you're coming back from doing horrible things and killing tons and tons of people. All these horrible questions and horrible feelings, but at the same time, it's got the tone of The Blind Side. There's a lovely scene that...
Oh, man.
Right from the beginning of the movie, it's got the tone of The Blind Side. You have all these cutesy scenes about his father making jokes about, oh, you punched a kid? I'm proud of you, son. You're the sheepdog. And cutesy cuts to playground kids squabbling. And then a fun segment where he's riding a bull at the beginning of the movie. Then it goes to a bar and he has a very romantic comedy, cutesy conversation with his love interest. And then whenever he goes overseas, it doesn't really change his attitude and it doesn't change the pace or the feeling of the movie at all. It just feels feels light.
Yeah, until after he takes out the villain of the movie, he goes back home, and again, we get like a quick
10-minute
thing. Yeah, like he's suffering, but then the doctor says, let me go introduce you to the VAs, and that's it. He's helping them all of a sudden. We don't get to see his transition to becoming normal again.
Bradley Cooper is putting in a great performance with a pretty good accent. He's got these dead eyes that really put him into the role as well. The way he deadens
Bradley
his
Cooper
eyes.
does a very great job in this movie. He bulked up nicely too for the role.
And apparently he really wanted to do this movie. He executive produced it. He got the rights to the book or something, and he put himself in this role and got the director that he did, and he pushed this movie forward.
Got that director, huh?
He's the one who really was pushing for this movie, but I don't know why in this current form he was pushing for it, because it's just a weird romantic comedy / superhero war movie with about 10 minutes of stuff that you actually expected it to be, about him dealing with the consequences of killing 160 people. I thought the whole movie was going to be a drama. It had a Best Picture nomination, and it's listed as a biographical drama, as Raymond said earlier, and yet there's nothing.
It wasn't too dramatic. Of course, you had, some people dying. Some of his Punisher squad mates died towards the end. But, it's an entertaining film, so I would give it 3 stars. I'd probably watch it again if it's on TV or something like that.
The movie is weird. It's fun in the most sadistic way possible, because it's tampering with American history and expecting the majority of its audience to buy that everything in it happens the way it happens in the movie. They edit it in a fun way to watch, and the tone is lighthearted enough. There's a key scene where the butcher is trying to drill a hole in a kid's head. You got the screaming, "I'm just shoot this dog!" and you just assume Iron Man's gonna come jumping in and save the day. Based on the tone and the way they're acting. I'm not horrified by what's about to happen. Instead, I'm like, oh, a superhero is about to jump down and save somebody. And it would be just like I'm watching Iron Man, and then that kid is not saved by Iron Man. He just gets drilled in the head. You kind of would shrug your shoulders in Iron Man. It's like, well, that was a little mean, because we were having fun here, and then you just drilled a kid in the head in this movie.
In Iron Man or American Sniper?
But I'm trying to relate it to Iron Man. It would be the equivalent of if that kid got drilled in the head in Iron Man. You wouldn't get a horrified reaction. Instead, you would just be, wow, I'm a little turned off.
Yeah, it was a turn off indeed.
This man is scrolling through his phone again.
I'm trying to figure out the next movie we're gonna watch. I don't see the Jennifer Lopez one. I'm just laughing you left this in there. There's Boyhood. No, Boyhood's at 4. We're gonna have to watch Mordecai at 8. Or The Boy Next Door at 8. But The Boy Next Door came out last week, huh?
Also, another huge problem in this movie, it has a lot of assumed knowledge for why we're going over there and why we're fighting this particular enemy. It never really characterizes or directly links it to the stuff that he's seeing on the televisions. It's implied, and then we're never told why we're targeting the people that we're targeting. We don't know exactly what the butcher did. He's got a crazy name, and we see a lot of decapitated body parts in the fridge at one point and him drill a little kid's head. But prior to that, we don't know what he was doing, what his main objective was. We don't know what Mustafa's motivation is at all. Apparently, Steven Spielberg was originally supposed to do this movie, and they claim that his version of the movie would have concentrated on both Chris Kyle and Mustafa and their different perspectives, as one is trying to defend his country and the other is
trying to defend his country as well
in different ways. One of them thinking he's doing it by assaulting another country and breaking down doors and disrupting their way of life, and the other is disturbed by this and he's coming to their aid, and he's the best in the business, and he came from Syria.
He's helping out these guys who recruit kids and women. But yeah, like you were saying, we don't get a full motivation about this, because we're going to assume that he was in Operation Iraqi Freedom at that point in the movie. He just watched 9/11 on the screen. That's not why we went over there. And then he goes over to Operation Iraqi Freedom. They don't fully explain that. I guess it was just supposed to be from Chris Kyle's point of view. He has to stop terrorism. He has to stop people who are trying to suppress others. That's why he went to Iraqi Freedom, to free the Iraqi people.
But I guess to criticize his motivation on the movie is also to criticize the motivation of everything that we're doing now as a country, because if you question his motivation to go over there, you're questioning the judgment of the whole idea of a war on terror, and how can you have a war on an idea, and ideas are bulletproof.
Yep. So
as we learned from Guy Fawkes.
Yeah, probably would like it better if the movie just was called The Snipers and you had the comparison between Chris Kyle and Mustafa.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Mustafa is considered some kind of hero over there to them.
I mean, imagine America for a second, that someone bigger than us came over here and decided that a few rogue sections of our country, like 5 people, flew a plane into one of their buildings.
Like, let's say the Westboro Baptist Church went crazy and decided to blow something up over there.
Yeah, and then they decide, well, we gotta bring the fight to them, and so
Yeah.
they're bigger than us, and so they just start going door to door, throwing us out of our homes. I mean, people in Texas and all over the southern United States aren't gonna take that line down, and most of the other places aren't either.
Yeah, every Christian is now their enemy now, who had nothing to do with that.
Yeah, if the exact opposite were true, obviously we would have people like Mustafa. Mustafa is a hero to these people.
Yep, we'll have our Texan heroes.
If you thought the title line in Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, where George Lucas states there are heroes on both sides, evil is everywhere, if you thought that was stupid, that's actually brilliant. George Lucas is a genius.
Wait, who thought that was stupid?
A lot of people think that was
about
stupid.
that line?
How can there be heroes on both sides? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, well, it makes sense to these people who believe these sort of things. Well, I guess because you're in a fantasy world and the Sith are supposed to be bad guys.
Well, these guys are supposed to be bad guys to us, but at the same time, we don't know why we're fighting them in this movie. All we know is that they're defending their homeland.
You're saying that the Jedis probably invaded the Sith, and we didn't get that story yet?
We didn't get that story.
So you mean
Sith
Disney?
have a deeper backstory.
Sith got a deeper backstory to
Yeah.
where the Jedis invade them and take control of some of their stuff and force them to become these machine-type half-breed people.
You create your own enemy.
There you have it, folks.
All right.
Oh,
On that
I gotta
note,
get ready.
Raymond.
I guess we're gonna be watching Mordecai at 8. It better
Not
be good.
unusual to have fun with anyone. It's not unusual to have fun with anyone. When I see you in a round with anyone,
It's
not unusual to see me cry.
I wanna die. Okay.
All right, the second movie we saw was Birdman. Raymond, tell us what happened in Birdman.
Birdman is a 2014 comedy drama which stars Michael Keaton, Zach Galifianakis, Edward Norton, Andrea Riseborough, and Emma Stone. It is directed by Alejandro. I'm not even going to try to pronounce his middle and last name. It is about a washed-up actor who once played an iconic superhero, battles his ego, and attempts to recover his family, his career, and himself in days leading up to the opening of a Broadway play which he is producing. So Birdman is a film. It starts off with him just floating in the air.
Michael Keaton is in just his tighty-whities, floating in his dressing room in midair, meditating, and moving objects with his mind powers, metaphorically speaking.
Yeah, we're just assuming that this is all in his head.
Or is
he's
it?
doing this stuff. I think it's in his head. And we'll get to that at the end of the movie. But this movie is shot, there are edits in it, but it's done in the one take. It just made it to where the camera just follows people through this one area, which is the Broadway play, and into his dressing room and
Circling him in rehearsals and...
yeah, and doing. Ooh, Andrew got distracted with the circle.
Imagine a whole movie runtime with the speech that the Joker gives to Rachel in The Dark Knight, where they're constantly circling the two of them. Imagine that, but for the whole movie, they're constantly following people, circling people in conversations. Whenever they do settle down, it is amazing. That is great. I like it when they stop the camera.
When they stop the camera.
When they get to a point and they just settle down. I feel the reason they were circling was that they could just have bodies that could go in front of the camera so they can visual effects have secret cuts in case somebody screws up. Yeah, it was very distracting at first. It was probably because I was tired as well. It was late when we saw this and
Andrew was very tired.
I was getting a little dizzy and finding it hard to concentrate on what was actually happening in the scenes, which was unfortunate because everybody was having a lot of fun in this movie, being mean to one another. Edward Norton especially was having a blast.
So I'm not even going to go try to walk through the plot of this movie because I can't even remember everything that happens. It was just Michael Keaton.
He's a washed-up actor. The last role he was known for was his third sequel to the Birdman franchise that came out in 1993. And ever since then, he hasn't had any huge parts. He's a washed-up old guy. He's running out of money, running out of juice, and he wants to revamp his career with a play called What We Talk About When We Talk About Love. He's trying to stage it. He has his daughter, who was formerly a drug addict, but she's supposedly on the mend, played by Emma Stone, who is now his assistant. Chaos ensues whenever he sits down to rehearse a scene, and the guy who is doing the lines is horrible. He can't coach this guy, and then he uses his mind powers to knock him out with an overhead light, and then he has to hire Edward Norton, and Edward Norton is the most insane method actor in the world, who likes to have his penis flung about in front of Emma Stone, who likes to watch Hulk penis swing around in mirrors while King Kong lady walks around in the dressing room.
Oh, Naomi Watts.
Naomi Watts walks around as well and gives him a kiss while while he's naked as well.
Yeah, we learned that Naomi Watts and Edward Norton had history together.
And there's a lot of mean butting heads about Edward Norton being this serious play actor and how plays are really meaningful and have an effect on people after they leave. Well, no one really cares about movies these days. They're just giant blockbusters. He's making trash, and that's all he'll ever be. Huge butting of heads between Edward Norton and Michael Keaton's character, as well as a New York critic who likes to sit in this one place in this one bar for multiple days on end while she's thinking about the next thing she's going to write. She's bolted to the seats like Statler and Waldorf from the Muppets, I assume.
Damn. I just want to say, because this was very distracting to me, Emma Stone in this film, very attractive young lady. I was very confused because she looked like she had taken some type of fountain of youth. She looked like she was at least 16 years old in this movie. It was very freaky.
It could be the fact that she's playing the part of a former drug addict.
Like lost a lot of weight.
Lost a lot of weight.
So I guess her face is always that young looking. I just never noticed it. It's just the way they did her makeup, I guess, and how skinny and the... Oh my goodness. Oh, that Emma Stone. I love you, by the way.
Truth or dare, Raymond. Truth or dare.
Oh, they play a game of Truth or Dare with Edward Norton. A truth.
Edward Norton would love to make love with Emma Stone, but he's worried that he can't get it up.
He's a weird character in this movie. Edward Norton, the actor, he's a good actor. I kind of imagine that the role he was playing in this is exactly what he's like in real life.
I really hope not. I would never want to meet him.
I was imagining this because you hear stories about this guy. I was like, oh my God, Edward Norton is crazy.
The guy who plays it the straightest is actually Zach Galifianakis, surprisingly, as Michael Keaton's producer slash agent slash publicist.
Zach Galifianakis, y'all, is it's hard to explain.
He plays it straight, but because it's Zach Galifianakis playing it straight, it's still funny.
When he starts like yelling, he's so hilarious. When he starts getting upset and he's pointing and putting his finger down and stuff. And I think it was made purposely to look hilarious like that with Zach Galifianakis. He's very fun in this movie. He's one of the reasons they kept me going.
He also kept the characters going in this movie because there's several times when Michael Keaton and the others want to quit, and he's the one who's pushing it. Look, bub, I don't have time for you and your problems. I have problems of my own. You told me that this was going to be our comeback. I'm going to make this our comeback no matter what happens.
They do, like warm-ups? What is that? Like
the previews. They do preview nights.
Preview nights.
Yeah, and they go wonderful.
Okay, the preview nights get pretty out of hand.
First, Edward Norton
breaks character and goes nuts.
There was a concern because he's such a method actor. Edward Norton's character is such a method actor that he replaced his fake alcohol on stage with real alcohol, and he was getting drunk on stage. So Michael Keaton comes in, fixes himself a drink, and it's actual water, and he replaces Edward Norton's drink, sly-like, during the play while they're saying their lines, so that he doesn't have alcohol anymore. He walks off to do his monologue in front of the whole entire audience, upstage doing his monologue, and Edward Norton's behind him, and he's doing this emotional speech, and then all of a sudden Edward Norton's like, what the F happened? Who replaced my drink? If I wanted my drink replaced, I would do it, man. This is what I'm talking about. You don't understand. You can't get into the moment like me.
So that happens.
He's throwing the cup around, shattering it. And
they do all the previews, and the big critic who sits in the bar all the time, Michael Keaton confronts her. We skipped a whole chunk of the movie because it's just blah, blah, blah nonsense with everybody butting heads. So Michael Keaton goes in. The lady tells him, I'm going to write a bad review no matter what. You're gonna suck. So Michael Keaton eventually, this is towards the end of the movie. Oh, I never realized. I guess he was trying to outshine Edward Norton's method acting. So we see he has at the end of the play, he's supposed to walk in on Edward Norton's character, Naomi Watts' character. He's in love with Naomi Watts' character, and he's supposed to use a fake cap gun and shoot himself and die, and that's supposed to be the end of the play. He pulls out a real gun, and we follow him. So of course you're thinking, oh my God, he's gonna commit suicide.
He'll go out with a bang.
He go out with a bang. And it was supposed, thought he was going to die. He pulls the trigger. We see the blood splatter. People stand up, start clapping. It's horrible.
The critic does not clap, but she stands up and leaves.
Somehow she was taller than everybody. We got to see her leave. Oh, she stepped down the aisle. We got to see her leave.
It's slightly stadium seating, but not really.
Yeah.
Not enough.
And she was just in shock and awe of what happened. Oh my God, I pushed this guy over the edge. He wakes up in the hospital. Apparently he shot his nose off. He had surgery. Got his nose back. I thought they was going to have a bird nose at first. But they didn't.
They permanently attach his Birdman mask to his face to cover up all the scars.
That would have been great, but they didn't.
And he's Birdman forever.
So he does that, and the lady writes a review that she liked the movie and whatnot. His daughter
liked the movie?
Yeah, she liked the... Oh, she liked like the play. Sorry. He reconnects with his daughter at the end, and it's a good story. And like Andrew said, he was very tired. He just was like, it was all right. And I explained to him that, you know, when I was watching it, you know, everybody that's being mean-spirited, all this mean-spirited stuff, Michael Keaton with the Birdman alter ego who constantly keeps talking to him. This whole movie is like a big analogy for humanity, is what I got from it. We're just mean to each other constantly. We're trying to outdo each other. We're always have some kind of high point in our lives, and somehow we feel like we have to get back to that. Like Michael Keaton's character, he wants to get back to that and try something different. And I think the Birdman voice represented our egos, how crazy we are, and you know, he's doing all this amazing things that, well, apparently people do see him do this, because some guy, no they don't, because he lands whenever he flies, and then the guy's like, hey, you're not gonna jump, are you?
There was also a sequence whenever he actually flew to the theater, and then as he lands and walks in, we linger and we see a cab driver say, hey, he didn't pay me for his cab fare.
Yeah, he didn't pay for the cab fare.
So they firmly established that this is fantasy at that point.
Yeah, it's all in his head. The movies are just, you know, about humanity, and at the point at the end where he shoots himself, I thought he was gonna kill himself. He's gonna be a big, you know, the analogy was gonna be, we're trying to get to where we need to be, and we self-destruct because we want to have this constant need for fame or something like that. But he survived, and it still was, we sacrifice, we give blood to be where we want to be, I guess. And at the end of the movie, his daughter comes in. I hope we said spoilers for this, did we? Everybody knows it's spoilers by now. So his daughter comes in, and she looks out the window and sees him doing all this amazing stuff that he normally does in his head, which I thought was his play. What was the name of the play again?
What we talk about when we talk about love.
It was about him having to reconnect with his daughter, and she sees him doing all this amazing stuff that he does in his head, and that's what it's about. Just getting the people that we love to see us for how we want them to see us. That's what life's about for humanity, is we should love instead of letting our egos get in the way of our love. So that's what I took from this movie. It was a very good movie, very artsy. I think every actor did a tremendous job. Like I said, Emma Stone was just looking beautiful, but
yeah, overall, even though the gimmick distracted me, I'm sorry to call it a gimmick.
Ooh.
Look at this guy oohing me.
Well, we know we had a few movies in the past who had gimmicky stuff. I don't want to throw them out there.
Even though the one camera tracking shot was distracting at first, it really is an incredibly impressive thing that I think everybody should probably give this movie a chance for, at least just to see how they pulled that off. It does serve the narrative and what they're talking about, and about plays versus movies, and it gives the actors time to treat this almost like a play. It almost feels like a Saturday Night Live, some sort of live event unfolding before you, because you have these extended takes where people actually have to remember long amounts of lines, and you can't just edit around performances like you do in a normal movie. It does add a bit of something. It helps to communicate some of the themes in the movie.
Throughout the movie, like I said, he has his Birdman alter ego constantly talking to him, and at one point we get to see Birdman in the costume. Was that actually Michael Keaton with his shaved goatee in that costume, or was that a different guy, you think?
Well, I think to pull off the shot, they actually ended up CGing his mouth onto the parts where he's walking, and then whenever he transitioned into the flying parts, it just went into a full green screen replacement where it was Michael Keaton in the suit just on a green screen, and they just added him behind himself walking.
Okay.
I think that's how they did it, because at one point it looked like the whole mouthpiece was fake, and then it transitioned. I'm giving away how I think they did it because I noticed how they were doing it, which is probably not a good thing whenever you notice how somebody's doing it.
Ooh. Well, no, it's okay. If you notice how they do it, it's fine.
Still impressive, though. It's going through my head all the lighting and all the things that need to match in order to sync this all up to even look how good it is right now, even though I can tell how they're doing it.
It's very nice. Like Andrew said, they have these constant things where they throw out, I guess it's supposed to be meta, or I don't know how you would say this about movies versus plays and stuff like that. And his Birdman ego comes in, and you know, this is where Michael Keaton's ready to give up. His character's ready to quit the play, and his Birdman ego comes in and tells him, yeah, you know what? We're going to make a new Birdman movie. It's going to be great. Birdman, the Phoenix Rises. And I just got so pumped by that line. You know, he's constantly saying, don't worry about that. People don't like all this soft,
this depressing
Yeah.
psychological
They
banter.
want action. Look at all these nerds. They're loving it. It would be great. And I told Andrew, man, I want that movie. He's like, this movie was making fun of you, Raymond.
They're making fun of you, sir.
They were making fun of you because
And you weren't insulted.
I was not insulted because Birdman, the Phoenix Rises sound like a movie I want to see. Even though it probably will be the fourth movie in the franchise. And we know how fourth movies who haven't had a movie in a while, you know, a sequel like that goes.
And thus this movie is making fun of how far-fetched those movies have to go to get someone who's a little bit older to come back into that role and do all the fantastic things they used to do.
Indy 4, Die Hard,
Force Awakens.
which we didn't get to see yet. cut this. Yeah, they were trying to play up how movies are just these giant tentpole movies now instead, which is not true. There are other great movies out there. Comedy, you know, I guess comedies are just fart jokes and sex jokes to them now. That's what they're trying to say and stuff like that, but that's not how movies are. So every now and then we get good gems. And then though we hate on, like Andrew's about to correct me, you know, we hate on Hollywood, but every time there'll be a gem every now and then.
Well, I'll say this then, since you brought up how comedies are mostly sex jokes and fart jokes. It seemed like most of the laughs in this movie, who was trying to be all uppity like they're better than other movies at some points, I'm assuming that based on what they were telling us about how we're stupid, you need to see more movies like Birdman, and at the same time, most of their jokes are sex jokes. It's like, ah ha ha, look, Edward Norton's naked again. Oh, look, he's wrestling Michael Keaton in his underwear. Ah ha, look, Michael Keaton has to walk through Times Square in his underpants.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha, he can't get it up. It seems like every other joke was about drugs or sex in this movie.
Ooh, so Alejandro, get your shit together, bro.
I'm pointing it out. It's not necessarily the director's fault. He chose the material.
But I guess when you do sex jokes and drug I guess it's the way you portray them. You can't just throw them out there. You have to make it funny. Like, I don't know. What's a good one? I did tell you I saw Wedding Ringer.
You saw Wedding Ringer?
I saw Wedding Ringer, sir.
Oh, no.
I saw Wedding Ringer and I saw Intimidation Game.
What the fruit?
I did.
When did this happen?
It's the weekend. It was like Sunday or something. What? You weren't answering your phone. I texted you. I texted you and you didn't
Ladies
answer.
and gentlemen, I missed 2 movies.
You missed 2 movies.
Because my phone was accidentally off because we saw movies on Saturday.
Yes, so...
Real quick, what'd you think of The Wedding Ringer and The Imitation Game? Go for the podcast.
I'm going to tell you out right now. I really like both of these movies. I thought The Wedding Ringer was a good comedy that I hadn't seen in a while. But it had crazy jokes where it's like sex jokes and stuff like that. But it was done in a way where I just enjoyed it. I thought it was very funny. It was this crazy humor. It was a fun, crazy movie that I liked. I thought Intimidation Game was pretty good as well. It was a very nice movie about World War II and all that.
World War II and all that.
And all that. Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch did a great job in that. I don't want to give away the whole plot. It was just about these secret, I think they were British. I can't remember who they were. There was some secret group of people who were brought together to try and crack the Enigma code that the Nazis used. They had the machine that the Nazis used to crack these codes. Throughout the movie, they're trying to crack these codes, and I think Benedict Cumberbatch's character was autistic. I'm not sure. He's just very quirky, like supposed to be like a non-funny Sheldon from Big Bang Theory or something like that. He was nice. It was a very fun movie for what it was. It didn't seem like it was gonna be fun. It did have the drama and sad parts, like Birdman was making fun of, trying to tell me that I need to like more. But I really enjoyed this movie. They had good stuff in it to where I was able to keep up with it. You can have your drama and your sadness, but you gotta give me something. Gotta give me something to go with. And Intimidation Game gave me something to go with. I was with it to the end. I'll give Intimidation Game 3 stars. I'll give Wedding Ringer 3 stars.
Out of 5. Well, I didn't see either of these movies, so I'm not allowed to tell Raymond how wrong he is.
We can go see either one of these movies. I can go see them again, sir, because I like them both.
All right. And it's also possible that Raymond just gets a vibe from me whenever he goes to the movies, and he starts disliking stuff just because he knows I'm disliking it. So maybe we should start seeing movies separately and then come onto the podcast and talk about them.
Well, no, because remember, you at first you did not like Birdman, and then I was with Birdman, and I told you what the analogy of the movie was. You're like, okay, now I feel better about it.
Well, I didn't like it because it was just so mean. I was tired, and I wanted a lighthearted comedy.
You wanted a lighthearted comedy.
And it was so mean. Everybody was being so mean to one another in that movie. But I'm sure I will be more impressed with Birdman on a second watch. I'll probably appreciate that movie a lot more. It's really funny, really creative, amazing technical feats that it's pulling off while it's telling its story that it wants to tell.
We'll have to bring in our secret weapon to see that with us for the second time.
And it has an ending that leaves interpretation up to the audience, which is always refreshing.
Yeah, I gave you my interpretation, but you can interpret it however you want to. I don't give a shit.
You can just believe that Michael Keaton actually did die, but then Peter Parker came swinging by, and Gwen Stacy was like, "Oh!"
He jumped out the window and died, everybody.
So,
Gwen Stacy, yeah, that is Gwen Stacy. It is Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy. So this is a prequel to The Amazing Spider-Man, where she first sees Spider-Man swing by as soon as her father commits suicide.
Or she is, I can't remember what they call it in comic books. There's this whole Spider-Verse thing going on, and Gwen Stacy gets spider powers. They call her the Spider-Gwen or what? Or
this
would
would
Spider
be
Girl.
A fantastic movie.
I think if Sony keeps it, they'll try to go with the Spider-Verse story.
I would have enjoyed Spider-Man with Emma Stone as Patrice Parker or something. I don't know how you would.
They got the Uncle Ben's, I think Uncle Ben's clone is a Spider-Man too. Ben Reilly. I don't know if it's Uncle Ben's clone or Peter Parker's clone. One of their clones is a Spider-Man as well. So we could get, what's his name? Who played Who played Ben Parker in Amazing Spider-Man? Who grabbed the gun for no reason?
Martin Sheen.
Martin Sheen. We get Martin Sheen back, and you can give him some spider powers.
I take everything I just said back. Right?
Oh no!
This sounds horrible.
It sounds horrible. You didn't like the clone bit?
That you lost me.
I lost you at the clones. Well, that's how it is in the comic book. So you
the
have to take
comic
that up
books
with all
have
the comic
lost their
guys.
minds. I don't know how people are
Oh,
accepting
these
what's
were
happening.
the Clone series thing was back in the early '90s, I think.
For the dog time.
Yeah, before the sad, depressive movies. Yeah.
Ben Kenobi saying that to Luke.
Yeah, he's saying that because it's true. Guess we're in a general discussion now.
Yes, we are.
What's next? Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, so these movies are just absolutely not fun. Just every movie. People don't put their best effort forward and try to make them the best that they could be. I don't know if this is Hollywood's trying to tell us stop pirating type thing or what, but they...
What?
I just assume
So
that
their strategy to make us stop pirating
is make bad movies.
is make bad movies so we
people-
don't want to see the
bad
junk.
movies, so we just pirate the bad movies and watch the bad movies.
That's completely the reverse.
It is completely reverse, but I believe that's their strategy.
People will want to pirate more because they know that they're
movie's
paying
gonna
a lot
suck.
for crap.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay for crap. I'm going to watch crap for free in my bathroom.
I'm gonna look this up right quick. We're gonna do a general discussion about upcoming movies.
We don't have that much time.
What time is it?
It's 7:30 almost.
Oh crap! It is 7:30. We gotta leave you guys. All right, we'll save that one for later.
Goosty, see saloon for later.
I don't know if Andrew will cut our random rants about Hollywood at the end here.
I have no idea how I'm going to cut this one. This is a weird one.
This is a weird one.
This is a weird one, but it will go somewhere.
Please be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your friends
About all this crap
About
that
all-
you heard.
about everything. Not about the crap that you heard, but about us, because we're here to help.
We're here to help.
We're here to help. I know some of you go see movies and you come out like, what was that crap I just seen? And you're with your group of friends and they're enjoying it. And you're like, no, this isn't how a movie's supposed to be.
This is your safe haven. We're here. We're here for you.
That's right. Okay. So Andrew just did that. We are. We're here for you because we know you guys are having a tough time and you want to escape this terrible reality, and movies refuse to give you that anymore.
They refuse to give us our escape. So how can we even go back to reality if we can't escape reality?
You can't. You're stuck in it forever. You know, with this whole realism and dark and grittiness. Sad. Oh, by the way, today's the anniversary of Heath Ledger's death. Sorry to throw that out there.
What the fruit?
I just remember that.
Why would you do that?
7 years, man. It's been 7 years.
I remember
to
somebody
cut
just said that to me like they were showing off.
I think it was Mr. Snyder.
No, it was Mr. Haywood. Mr. Haywood.
We might get him to like and subscribe us.
Go, hey, Mr. Haywood, this one's for you, baby.
Oh man, we are gonna get sued.
By who?
By Mr. Haywood.
This is not defamation of character. This is free speech.
Okay, Mr. Haywood came in, broke the news to us, which I would rather have the news broken to me by Mr. Haywood than anybody else.
Ah.
So that's what we
Anybody
had.
else. Wow.
It's the anniversary of Heath Ledger's death today.
If you're having trouble sleeping, please talk to somebody. Get a break in your schedule. Rethink your priorities, because sleep is very, very important, but it's not worth your life. And you should not be taking excessive amounts of drugs to try to cope with the fact that you can't sleep and you need to be up in the morning and you need to be somewhere and you have so much obligations. You got to take a step back. It's not worth it. And don't date an Olsen twin.
I did not know where you were going with this at first. I was like, this is just random. And then, oh, yeah, Heath Ledger.
This has been a public service announcement from the PLP.
It's a PLP because we love you guys. We want you guys to have fun again. Right? Fun. Not badass. Fun.
Take that, Wally.
That one's for you, Wally. So
That one's for you.
Yeah. Hopefully, don't worry, you won't be listening to us. We won't be the only guys you listen to here on the Parking Lot Projections podcast. We'll get some more Parking Lot Projectionists to come in, like our friend Tristan, get his schedule right, and we'll have him on here. You guys will love him.
Don't make promises you can't keep, kid.
No, it's gonna happen. Don't worry, it's gonna happen. I mean, you can't just work forever.
I believe you can just work forever.
You know what I mean? Not like hours and hours and hours of work. It's gonna be a lull at one point.
And when that lull arrives, you're going to see some serious stuff.
Yes, very serious indeed.
Should we end this?
You have to shut it down, sir. You're the shut.
All right. For the Parking Lot Projectionists, I'm Andrew.
And I'm Raymond.
Shutting it down. Eventually.
Hey! Try to fake me! No! Ow! I'm gonna crab up on your ass and choke you out! I'm gonna choke you out! What are you looking at?